Welcome to Ladies Who Jazz, where each month I interview and feature a different female jazz musician. This month we have the amazing Kim Clarke, who plays upright acoustic bass as well as electric bass. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can you tell us how you got started playing jazz?
How I got started playing jazz? Originally was an R&B person. A friend of mine sold me an instrument, and I joined a band. I formed a band in my first school because I kind of got started around high school, late high school, and I formed this group and then changed schools a couple of times in college and just really got serious in college. And so the band that I when I came back home, I was away at school a couple of years. I came back home. The band that I was with went to Canada for 5 years, and left me here to finish college. So I was here doing it, and I met somebody who said, "Well, we'd have a jazz jam session over in Brooklyn called the Music Factory." I said, "Really?" So I just started going over there, and they had the real books sitting out, and that's just kind of like how I stumbled into, from my switch from R&B into jazz.
What do you think is happening in jazz right now that excites you?
What's happening is that I'm seeing some of my friends and some of the younger musicians getting work and really trying to get out there. I'm seeing more women's groups get out there. Some of the friends that came through, like I was telling you, I played with the Kim Clarke Big Band, and some of the young ladies that came through have gone on and gotten some pretty serious careers. And so I'm kind of happy to see that finally, But I just hope that they don't end up in a generic, girls, without a name. Mm-hmm. That's why I started the Lady Got Chops Festival with two other ladies to alter that situation where women's names don't survive into antiquity. It's just like, oh yeah, Charlie Parker had a woman that played bass. What's her name? Still don't know what it is. Taught myself how to make websites and try to get things out there, put all the gigs out there, do the festival, try to get people's names out there. And I'm seeing some of these people working, so I'm happy to see that. I know it's not all me, because they're great musicians. I'm not going to knock that, but I'm hoping that things are changing.
Who are your top 3 greatest jazz influences?
Study-wise, I would have to say Jimmy Heath, Ron Carter, because I had a grant to study with him. Barry Harris I should put at the top, because Barry is just such a giving soul, and if you try and understand what he wants you to do, you'll really learn a lot of music, and you can just take something that he says in class and go and sit with it for like years and work on it. But I would try to take the principles of what they were giving and put it into my little notebook and go home and play with it or write it out or whatever. Of course, Charlie Parker. Of the young guys now, SMV, Stanley, Marcus, and Victor. I love the sound and the writing that they're doing. My favorite guitar player at this time, of course, George Benson, but I mean Charlie Christian. But I'm Jeff Lee Johnson. I'm really into Jeff Lee Johnson right about now.
Have you faced any challenges to do what you do or continue what you do, and how have you overcome them?
Yes, I faced quite a few challenges. Me as a woman, I'll get, like, say, young guys say, "How did you do that?" And they're like what we call bolts. They bolt themselves to your fingers and like, try to analyze what you're doing,
Right.
So you get more of that. So it can be kind of lonely. It's kind of, kind of strange. So you have to really, focus on why you're there. Try to keep the focus of the band, if you can, onto sounding better each night. Try to record and try to, pass, not just being mediocre. Try to work toward something different, because I think Joe Henderson he said something about music. A lot of crazy stuff goes on all day and all in your life, but music is a chance you can speak to God,
Right.
You can relate to the higher powers with music. And I said, well, that's a pretty interesting way to be, and philosophy rather.
What are you currently focused on in your practice right now?
I am focused on something that I got from Barry Harris's class. I'm kind of focused on something that he calls 6 diminished scales and chords. 1, 3, 5, and 6, 2 floor, flat 6, and major 7. That makes the full diminished chord. And so I'm just into practicing that, the 4 cousins that I call them, that are like the diminished chords that are related to each other by minor third, And I put them on a chart and I said, okay, what makes these guys so close together? And I said, I'm going to do something that I think I came here with in my past life, because when I was little, remember seeing music in colors, and I said, let me get me some colored pencils or something, and put this here with that block of cousins and that block of cousins and that block of cousins, and see exactly how are they related and why did they call them cousins.
You're the founder and organizer of the Ladies Got Chops Festival. What else do you have coming up?
I am one of the founders. There were two other people that owned a cafe. And so I always want to give them their props, because without them, we would have, we came up with the idea at that place. But they only stayed open for 9 years. So what's coming up next is the continuation of the festival. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to record, and I might have a tour later on in the year, maybe, if I can, I got to work on that one. And working with a friend of mine named Nikita White. She's got a great voice, but I'm trying to build something at this one particular club on Sundays at Billy's Black. They don't, we want to keep jazz alive. So if they're going to give us that space, we want to try and work that space and, turn it into something. But I've also been doing some subbing at Minton's. Hill Green is the regular bass player up there, so he's called me to sub on several occasions. And I just fill in the calendar with whatever else. And now I'm also up to my eyes in paperwork, because the Lady Got Chops Festival it's going to slowly but surely turn into a 501c3.
As someone who is so experienced in the form, how do you challenge yourself to grow?
The challenge is to sit down every day and do it, because life throws all kinds of things at you. And sometimes you need every little bit of knowledge of esoteric things, metaphysical things, plus just, maybe knowing the pitfalls of being distracted by, the phone. Oh my God. The cell phone. Oh boy.
Right.
If you can just say, okay, I am being distracted. I've got friends that like to talk a long time, and, you have to learn how to budget your time and try to make this happen at least an hour a day, at least minimally, and that's one of the things I think will help you to grow.
For the girls and ladies out there who would like to start playing jazz, what kind of advice can you offer to them?
Study hard, and you should find a way to see what another person's real motives are when they're dealing with you with business. Don't fall into the old-fashioned trap like the actor's couch. You have to be careful, and just, like I said, try to just advance. That's what something that came with Denard. You say, just advance. That's a good way to be. A lot of the young folks are very fit, and they look very wonderful and all that kind of stuff. Just make sure that you have someone who's going to look out for you. If you can't do it yourself, have somebody that's going to look out for your best interests, and just advance.
I think we're ready now to get ready and play a tune. For the audience out there, if you've enjoyed this interview and would like to see other ladies who jazz, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are a lady who plays jazz or know someone who does and would like to see them featured on the show, please contact me here or on my website, lisalouguitar.com. I'm Lisa Lou. This is Kim Clarke. Keep shedding.